Cool. Uh, Hi Aishwarya, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome as always. What about you?
I'm good too. So let's get quickly started. Can you give a good intro about yourself to the people who will be watching this? So it would be very good.
So, hi guys, I'm Aishwarya Pooja Dhayalan, a college dropout turned cricketer, daughter of super supportive parents, a passionate speaker, and a marketer by profession who has a vision to inspire women and girls to follow their passion.
That's very quick and nice intro. Um,
Yeah.
so so as you mentioned, a dropout from college and again digital marketer and these things. So just wanted to know this story. How MBBS, how is this cricket and how is the digital marketing? How is this how did this happen? How does this transition happen?
Got it. So basically, in childhood, I was just training, badminton. I never went to proper school, just like hanging out here and there, studying and just, studying before exams and just passing out on it. So I was actually a badminton player. So I thought I would play for India, become an Olympian. That was like the dream that I had when I was a kid. So like unfortunately in 10th standard I had a very major accident which put like a stop to my badminton career. So I was in bedridden. I was almost bedridden for a year.
Mhm.
So and then like I had to get back to studies because I was afraid like what else do I know to do? And like every typical Indian parents do, like my parents wanted me to get into IITs or any good medical colleges.
Mhm.
And it was an add-on pressure because most of my cousins were, IITs. So, and I know like I'm not good in math, so I can't crack IITs at all. So I chose the option of, preparing for, pre-medical exams. So that's how it got started. So I joined Akash Institute. Then for 2 years, it was just like just studying, giving exams, solving MCQ papers, and just going here and there. I then cracked pre-medical exam, so I scored like some 600 plus in NEET and got some 1000 plus rank in AIMS and I think some 600 plus in JIPMA. So things were going good, and I wanted to have the AIMSCN tag on myself, so I chose AIMS. So I went on to do my MBBS from AIMS Patna. That was going good for a month, and I think 2 months, 3 months down the line, I was very sure that this is something that I never wanted to do in my life. And after I spoke to a lot of my seniors and figured out that I have to give 10 years of my life to just get a degree and become a doctor, and I wasn't ready for it. And I know even if I do, I would be a bad doctor, and I didn't want to become that. So I think almost it took me like 6 months to like convince my parents, and then like I dropped out from there. The story of cricket came in because after I found out that MBBS is something that I'm not passionate about, I went on to the back bench of my class and started gazing outside. Then I came to know there is a academy called as MS Dhoni Cricket Academy in Patna, and I saw women's play cricket, and that was something that I saw in India for the first time, where I'm seeing women play cricket for live. And then I just like started stalking them on Facebook, on Instagram, and started DMing them and like talking to them. Then I joined their weekend classes. Then it was going good. I started liking the game, and my so basically in badminton I had a spinal fracture, so it wasn't hurting much when I was playing cricket. So I was like, this is continue and see how it's gonna go. And I met a railways coach over there, and she was
Mhm.
like, even if I start right now, probably I might uh, might lead a career in cricket. And I also like use cricket as an escapism from MBBS. So I just like went on to my dad, and then the first question that he asked me was like, "What do I want to do if not MBBS?" And I was like totally blank. But I told him that just give me a year. I want to play cricket, and also I will make sure that I figure out what I want to do, and if sort of going to a college or doing some, probably going abroad or things like this. So just because like my AIMS fees was pretty less, like it's a all India quota, so my fees per year was 6,000 back then. So my dad was like, okay, fine, he was ready to take up that risk. So I just started playing cricket, then went to Chennai, enrolled myself in a residential camp where I used to train cricket from morning 9 to evening 6. then started, all these YouTube videos, following
Mm.
influences online, figuring out freelancing, all came into the game. So I think like I had a hit which made me, seriously try marketing. Was I have my roommate, and she is sort of a star in Tamil Nadu women cricket, and we were playing a tournament, and then she had a ACL tear, and she has to like move out of the game for almost 6 months, and she had no revenue, and her family was struggling because of that, and that kind of gave me a hit, and I'm like, what would I do if I had an injury or something? Because injury is very common in sports, you can't
Yes.
control that. So that's how it
Mhm.
started. Then I was like, I started taking up, marketing very seriously. And
Mhm.
that's how I started doing freelancing and stuff like that.
So one thing I can relate with you is as you mentioned that you are not good with maths, right? Even I was not good with maths, but I wanted to take BIPC in one point of my life, but I was not good with biology as well, this chemistry and this thing. So as there is no option, easy ways to go MPC for us. So I went into that, and I really loved the transition that you have done. But I have one doubt here. So as you mentioned that you transitioned from MBBS cricket and again digital marketing, you are a good student, right? Like cracking an MBBS is not that easy for sure, right? So why did you drop out? As you know, most people say just continue the studies. How did you get that courage to drop out and pursue something which you are not even sure of, right?
Got it. So I would say like I was very sure that MBBS is something that I did not want to do in my life. In that point, I was not sure of what I want to do in my life, but I was very sure that MBBS is not something that I want to do in my life. Uh, Back then, I started watching, digital Pratik videos and things like this. I'm sure you know about him.
Yeah.
Uh, I was like in a dilemma of dropping out. I was thinking of like, should I seriously pursue dropping out, talking to my parents? And I was in state of that mind. And I was started watching Vishal Pratik's videos. And I think back in his first very early videos, he spoke about like how he managed, like how he dropped
Mhm.
out and then he
Yeah,
went to
that
work in an
call center story and
and
everything.
all those things. And I
Mhm.
was like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And that was like some sort of a hit that I had. And that kind of gave me a courage to, drop out.
Mhm. So, would you believe one thing that your story has created an impact in my life that I have took a serious, important decision in my life that I've turned from a full time job to a consultant right now from your story because one point of time before 3 to 4 months while I was busy in building things, I was came into this point that I can't continue my full-time job because if I continue my full-time job, then I can't keep time for the things what I love and what I wanted to build. Then I came across your story, that LinkedIn one, where you have kept that, MBPS dropout the story. Then I felt like I still have this doubt. Do you have any degree right now? That
I still don't have.
then I felt this, okay, she one person is they are not feared, they don't have a degree but still they are doing these many things, like it's a very small thing that to quit a job and become a consultant, right? So this thing hit me, then you were a point of inspiration for me at that time to transition into it, and it was a good decision I made. And yeah, the next question I have to you is like dropping out for a typical South Indian family girl, even boy or girl, whoever it is, it's a very tough decision, tough thing to the family, right? Like even if I say something like if I drop even though I'm doing good with my consultancy or whatever I do, even my parents now say that do an MBA, go to abroad, something like that. But you dropped out from a degree, right? Like how was your family support from back then to today?
Today they are like pretty happy, but back then it was not good. My dad had a lot of issues with me. For an example, like when I cracked, my MBBS, when I went on like the first day of my aims, he gifted me, I think, 1+6 or something, which is kind of popular back then. I think it used to cost like some 50, 60. And then like the day I dropped out, he got that phone from me and he was like, "You don't deserve the gift." And then like he got that and like sold the phone and he bought me like a 10K Redmi phone and gave me the rest of the money from this. Just go buy a cricket kit and let's see what you're doing in life. And I think like that was like the downest point of my life, which made me realize that I have to start making money on my own. I don't have to ask my parents. So I think like one good thing that happened was like, just because my father was not supportive when I started out, I was hustling very hard to make each penny. I was like started doing gigs even though I was playing cricket and I was in a residential camp. The cost was pretty high, so I think the fees and the stay and everything used to cost like some 35 to 40. And I made sure that I started making money so that I could pay my own bills. I don't have to talk to him and like, get money from him every time. So I think my mom has been my biggest support. She is still happy, but I think even now they keep saying like just get a degree so that even things doesn't work out, you can just try and get a government jobs and things like that.
That happens, but uh so it's very difficult to get that kind of a support from family. Even right now, if you take some decision after a college or of whatever it is, they are confident that you have a degree, some other way you will get a job. But at that time it is, can't even imagine, like if I am a dropping out, then I don't even know a meaning of proper dropout that people are I know some people who, college people has said that you go from college, but I don't know anyone who themselves quit the college to pursue something which they had dreamed of. That is one thing. And actually, also what's going now? So you came from MBBS cricket and you have started your own cricket academy. Then again, gone into agency field, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I did.
And then again, you gone back to the corporate and you working with a startup and all these things. So what's going right now?
So I think one thing that I had in my mind very clear was I want to like get my hands dirty for 3 years. So 3 years is like a typical college span that you have. So I built my first own agency after I started doing freelance. I got a bit of confidence that I can do this. So I built my own agency with my friend, and I think we scaled it up to almost 70 clients in 4 months, and we had a couple
Okay.
of international clients in it. It was going good, and we have our niche was specifically sports and fitness. So back then, I used to run a podcast called as the Sports Glory, where I used to talk to people in the sports industry, and then that's sort of a pitch that I have used, like get them on the podcast, talk to them, become friends, and then like pitch in and things like that. That was like the strategy that I used to have. It was going very good. I think I did it for 2 years, and I also was like helping out. So I met somebody called Priyank on LinkedIn. He was like my mentor. I also collaborated with him for like B2B marketing, LinkedIn marketing. We were also helping like B2B businesses like metal industry, solar industry to get into LinkedIn and do LinkedIn marketing. So I was doing all of these, but then I think 2.5 years roughly. And like agencies are people driven business. You have to like to improve your business, you have to make sure that you have people on board. So I was not really like excited to scale it up because I have to get a lot of people on board, and it's
It
like it's not
involves lots
scalable
of
after a
managing
point.
people. Anything which is related
And
to
yeah,
agency is not scalable. Yeah.
I wanted to like get into product and things like that. So I decided that I will just, stop this. So I sold my agency to one of my friend who was also running an agency and like made a good amount of money from it. So and then like I decided that I want to work with a brand, build a brand and like see gets my hand dirty for my learning. So I just again went on LinkedIn and spoke to a couple of people, and there was somebody called as Amar who was like scaling up this family business into something all over India or something like that. So that was a talk that we had, and so I started working for him as a brand marketer, and I was handling two different brands. One was Skyline Construction, which was dealing with premier houses in Chennai, which used to cost like some 3 crores to like 10 crores. And all because of this, I also got a chance to speak to a lot of CMOs, CEOs of good organizations, because it's a very high ticket and people like them buy it. So I got an exposure over there. Then I was also simultaneously, building an interior brand for them, a TG from US and Canada, things like that. I think this happened, and I told him that once I turn 21, I want to just leave Chennai and go to Bangalore. That was like the only thing that I had in mind. So I came to Bangalore. I started working for an edtech company called Vitiksha. We were helping like tier 2, tier 3 college students upskill and then give them jobs at the end. It was going really good. I think I spent close to 9 months over there. And recently, at the end of 2022, on the last day, I decided to quit and then get back and start doing something on my own. So right now, I'm a growth marketing consultant, talking to a lot of people and then helping their brands grow.
Great, great. So again, back to being a consultant, right? Building something.
Yes.
Cool. Uh, so, so interesting story. So let's say if you consider what would be the North Star metric that help you to grow in your career, like transitioning through different phases of different career like options, what would be that major metric that help you to grow? Whatever you're doing, you're earning some six figure income right now and help lots of people, lots of brands to grow. And what would be the major metric that help you to grow in your career?
I think as cliche as it sounds, it's networking.
Mhm.
That's the main thing that I did, picked up pretty early on my career. So every time I want to try a new thing, every time I want to like probably like even currently, if I want to like talk to some influencer agency, I know whom to talk. If I want to like get some PR people on board, I know whom to talk. So like I think building a network very earlier in your career is very important, and that has been like one of the major boom factor in my career so far.
Even if you remember the first time you met online is through the networking thing. You remember? Yeah, I will
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
remember that day still now. So because of that, it all happened. Great. So you're right now in Bangalore. How are the things? How are the things? Everything in Bangalore. How is the your how is your lifestyle has changed from the past to now? Staying in Bangalore, in your own self and everything.
I don't know, man. Like, I think I have a house on my own right now. It's not my own, but rented out. So that's something that I'm really proud of because I'm able to actually have a place for myself. Uh, and I think it's been close to 8 months, and I'm living independently away from my parents and supporting them as well. So it feels really great, but I don't know if lifestyle has improved. I just think probably I would have bought a couple of Apple products, which I'm just crazy about. Nothing else, but I think Bangalore has been crazy for me, meeting a lot of people. Even like the auto driver one day was like talking about Rachamani, watching his podcast and things like that. So it has been like really crazy.
Definitely, I think you mentioned somewhere that Raj Shavani has played an important role, in transitioning in your career, right? Like, you inspired from him. So let's talk about something little bit of upskilling. I see that you have upskilled a lot because of which you are here. So in terms of upskilling, what do you consider? Like we can't go each and everywhere, right? We have to be like if I'm going in this segment of marketing, I have to choose go one by one, right? Like what is the important thing that you try to upskill, or what are you currently focusing up on right now in terms of upskilling?
So if you ask me, like, my ultimate goal in my life is actually to build something on my own, start a company down the line. And my field is marketing. So I want to make sure that I know each and every domain in marketing. So first I started with social media, then got into brand marketing, then upskilled myself in performance marketing, started getting my hands dirty over there. Then I've upskilled myself in growth marketing and then understanding a lot of data. Then I got to understand data analytics, and I think once you choose your domain, make sure that you are an expert in what you do, and but you make sure you have to know everything in that industry so that people don't cheat on you and waste your money. That has been like the only goal that I have in mind.
Mhm. So this thing is very much, what do I say, like a very famous term or this in these days, which is growth hacking. So what do you think about it? Like, that what do you think about like what is a major difference between a marketer and a growth hacker for the normal audience who don't know about it?
So I think marketing, you have strategies and then you run ads and then you bring business, generate leads, and all these are the common terms in marketing. But in growth hacking, you make sure that you have some sort of a hypothesis and get your hands dirty and run a lot of A/B testing and figure out which platform would work. Probably see if social media is working, see if ads is working, see if Facebook groups are working. So it's all about trying different things and understanding data and making sure you put all your money in the thing that's working out for you. So it's about figuring out which platform works and going all in that. So I think growth hacking is all about spending times and getting your hands dirty with data.
It's basically experimenting all the things and finding that first thing, North Star metric, if I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, so you're 21 right now, and you're still, you have lots of experience, have done lots of things, made your hands dirty, and still running for something new. And if I ask something which means like, what keeps you running for next 5 to 10 years down the line? Like people generally, if you go to an interview, people ask, like, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I'm not asking that kind of question, but what keeps you running? What do you want to achieve in next 5 to 10 years? Let's say for me, if someone asks me, then I feel that
This question.
if someone asks me for me, I would say that a service business is not scalable. I feel that a product, something which requires less man source is scalable, and I want to do something in that segment, which I was trying to do. So what would be that one thing for you?
Uh, if right now, like, I'm just very blunt about this question, but I think like I want to build my brand, so I just want to make sure my brand communicates in a way. There are a lot of people who wants to like do a lot of things, but they don't have the courage, they don't have the support. So I want to tell my story out so that somebody sitting somewhere in like Jaipur or like Rajpur, then making sure that they kind of inspire and come out of the comfort zone and try out things. So that's something that I want to do in the long run. And in my career, I would say I want to start something on my own, something which the problem that I'm very passionate about. So I'm trying and testing out a lot of different market research right now. Not sure which will work. So I think probably building my brand and as well as building my own company would be something that I want to do.
Great. So as we are end of this interview, so I just want to ask you this thing. Uh, so we have been this segment, like we have dropped out, all these things happen, you might have faced lots of fears, failures, all these things, right? Like definitely it's kind of a segment that in marketing we have lots of pressures, people try to point out us, and also be without you, sometimes you fear that you don't have a degree, back then at least once or twice in point of life. Like how do you came out those failures and fears, fear of getting failure?
So I think one thing that I'm always very sure, because I'm a sports person by birth. So I have had a lot of failures and it kind of like boosted me to like prepare for better. So every time I get that feeling or if I fail, I cry for an hour like an idiot. And then like the next hour I make sure that I sit down and reflect on what I have done, put down the learnings. If I don't know what went wrong, I make sure I connect to some people on LinkedIn, just start talking about it and understand their perspective and their journey. So this is something that I've been doing, and I think everybody should be like have the fear to failure, because that's something that would help you, grow your career faster, because you are scared that you will fail somewhere, and that will make sure that you push yourself harder and then give your best than like just sitting idle and making sure you just have a dream life, just thinking and dreaming about it.
you know uh some Ritesh Agarwal says this quote, it's better try and regret, try and fail than to regret, right? Like better we try
Yeah.
something than to regret, and few years after that down the line saying that I wanted to become an entrepreneur to do this thing but I haven't done it, saying this to your children or your friends. It's better to try. Cool. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Thanks for coming. Yeah, that's thank you so much.
Yeah. good in math, so I can't crack IITs at all. So I chose the option of preparing for pre-medical exams. So that's how it got started. So I joined Akash Institute. Then for 2 years it was just like just studying, giving exams, solving MCQ papers, and just going here and there. I then cracked pre-medical exam, so I scored like some 600 plus in NEET and got some 1,000 plus rank in AIMS, and I think some 600 plus in JIPMA. So things are going good, and I wanted to have the AIMSCN tag on myself, so I chose AIMS. So I went on to do my MBAs from AIMS Patna. That is going good for a month, and I think 2 months, 3 months down the line, I was very sure that this is something that I never wanted to do in my life. And after I spoke to a lot of my seniors and figured out that I have to give 10 years of my life to just get a degree and become a doctor, and I wasn't ready for it. And I know even if I do, I would be a bad doctor, and I didn't want to become that. So I think almost it took me like 6 months to like convince my parents, and then like I dropped out from there.
Paris. So I went into that, and I really loved the transition that you have done. But I have one doubt here. So as you mentioned that you transitioned from MBBS cricket and again digital marketing, you are a good student, right? Like cracking an MBBS is not that easy for sure, right? So why did you drop out? As you know, most people say just continue the studies. How did you get that courage to drop out and pursue something which you are not even sure of, right?
Got it. So I would say like I was very sure that MBBS is something that I did not want to do in my life. In that point, I was not sure of what I want to do in my life, but I was very sure that MBBS is not something that I want to do in my life. Uh, Back then, I started watching, digital Pratik videos and things like this. I'm sure you know about him.
Yeah.
I was like in a dilemma of dropping out. I was thinking of like, should I seriously pursue dropping out, talking to my parents? And I was in state of that mind. And I was started watching Vishal Pratik's videos. And I think back in his first very early videos, he spoke about like how he managed, like how he dropped out and then he
Yeah,
went to
that
work in
call
an
center,
as a,
call center story and
and
everything.
all those things. And I was like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And that was like some sort of a hit that I had. And that kind of gave me a courage to, drop out.
Mhm. So, would you believe one thing that your story has